In this video, we're going to talk about how to use the Particle command line interface and the Particle console to have a device that is added to a student account for student use, but also managed by a teacher account as a product fleet so that you can control the device and remove ownership from the student if necessary. So the first thing that we're going to need is Node.js. Node.js is free for use, and you can download it at nodejs.org, and it's what's necessary to install the Particle command line interface. I've already got it installed on my computer, so we'll skip ahead to the part where I install the Node.js Particle command line interface. So to do that, I'm going to type npm install -g space particle-cli. So npm stands for Node Package Manager. It's a command line tool. I'm installing something. -g means globally, and particle-cli happens to be the name of the package that I'm installing. When I hit enter, it's going to go ahead and fetch the Particle command line interface. So the next thing is I need to actually connect my Particle device by USB. And when you get it out of the box, it should be in the Particle Wi-Fi setup mode. You'll notice that because the LED on board the Particle device itself is blinking blue. So at this point, the device is fresh out of the box. It doesn't belong to any accounts yet. When I plug it in by USB, I can now type Particle and then type identify, particle identify. And this lists for me the device ID number. And that device ID number is going to be useful for me. And the first thing I have to do before adding it to a student account is that I first have to add it to the teacher account. So on the Particle console, when I log into the Particle console, I'm logging in as a teacher. You'll notice that on the left little icon bar here, you'll see an icon that says products. We're going to treat our entire fleet of devices as what's called a product. A product is basically a collection of devices that can all share the same firmware. If you want to mass flash them all with the same firmware, like an actual product that you ship to customers. In this case, we're actually going to create we're going to use a product that consists of 25 devices, and that's just the devices in the classroom. Now, at the 25 device rate, that's called essentially the hobbyist or tinkerer level of product support. It's free, so that basically means that with one teacher account, I can control 25 devices and not have to pay anything for it. I've already set up my product, and it's called CodeSwarm. And there's documentation about how to set up a product, but basically you just want the free version. And at this point, I'm going to hit Add Devices. I'm adding one device, and it happens to be this device that I've copied the device ID number off of from my command line terminal. And that's the one that we're setting up right now. So it's added that device, and I can rename it if I wanted to. And notice that nobody owns the device yet, and that's a good thing. And we are logged into the teacher account. Now here's where we set up the student account or add it to the student account. If I type particle setup, it'll ask me if I want to set up an account or log into a different account. If I want to log into an account that I've already created, I can type particle login. In my case, I've gone ahead and made all my devices numbered 01 through 18 because I have 18 devices. And I have a separate student account set up based off of that number. My student account here is codetag01@gmail.com because it corresponds to my device, which I've put a little sticky label on that says 01 for device number 1. Now that I've done that, I have to set up the Wi-Fi on board the device. I can type particle setup Wi-Fi. It asks me if I want to scan for local networks. I know the name of my network is called CodeTag, and I also know that it's WPA2 security, and that I also know its password as well. Now, if you have a school network that uses WPA2 Enterprise, currently Particle devices don't support WPA2 Enterprise, but they promise that that's coming on down the pipe. At this point, my Particle device has reset, and if it's found the Wi-Fi access point, it should be glowing kind of like this pulsing yellow, white or magenta light. At this point, I can add this device to my account by typing particle device add, and notice that I'm still logged into the student account. And now the student has claimed the device and can begin programming it. To verify that, back inside of the Particle console, if I refresh this page now, you'll notice that the device status has changed and is now owned by this particular student. If I want to revoke ownership from the student, I can hit this button here and hit unclaimed device, and the device will be removed from the student. You should also note that if I click on a device, it has lock and flash, and that allows me to deploy firmware to every single one of those devices, which is product firmware, as if you were treating it as a fleet of products. You can hit lock and flash, but you can also unlock the device. If you want students to be able to program the device, you can't flash your own firmware, or rather, it has to be unlocked. So that's basically how to control device firmware and also how to control management and ownership of the device. And that's it for this tutorial.